times conversation to have when we're at an international exchange like IETM, where so many people have flown from Europe and from Asia to be here. So how do you kind of reconcile that? Oh, I've gotten a bit nervous midway. That's weird. Normally you become more comfortable when you're up here. I'm probably trying to, you know, do the right... Judith's right there, that's the problem. So I'll look over here. But anyway, so it was really interesting. And I think to have 50 people in the room to participate in the conversation was actually fantastic. And the thing that I took away from it and that I've thought about overnight, and I can't remember who said this, but, you know, what about if we use the resources that got all of us here for these 3 days, and actually the next IETM was digital? And in certain spaces, places around Europe and Australia and Asia, we had hubs. Maybe that's been discussed before. I can see some faces going across there, shakes of the head. But I mean, you've got to go and have energy to those sorts of things, because we have to think about a way to do things differently. And sometimes the conversations you can have around climate change, green, all that sort of stuff can be reductive because people shut down for it and to the idea. But actually, where we arrived with our panel is that it's a really exciting time for artists and arts makers and practitioners, because actually we have to be creative about how we work together and how we exchange. And we talked also a little bit about language and how some people shut down about climate change and going green and all those sorts of things, and resource management was mentioned. And there was a really brief conversation about, well, isn't it our responsibility as artists then, instead of finding a language to talk about it, shouldn't we be just saying it as it is, which it is climate change? And I think in Australia, our current Prime Minister, who doesn't even think it's real, you know, should we be changing language? I don't know. I mean, that's just a question. And the only other thing I'd leave with that popped up, and maybe some people in the room do or don't know, but there's an organisation called Julie's Bicycle, and they've got a range of kits on their website that are all about, you know, ways you can possibly make your tours more environmentally friendly. But overwhelmingly, we all agreed that face-to-face meetings still have to happen. You know, you still do have to fly to meet someone. Yeah, so don't worry, okay? This here is really important, because at the end of the day we're human, and a conversation between you and me will, nervous again, a conversation between you and me will always accelerate things in a way that we haven't been able to figure out yet with technology. Thank you.
Thanks, Rosie. Absolutely, digital, but how do you get the digital hug? You know, this is a hug fest, isn't it? You get to see people and give them hugs. Somebody can work out the digital hug, I'm all for it.